G'day and welcome to the Hunting Connection podcast. My name is Zach Williams and I am your host. Here we'll connect you with hunters, fishers and outdoor enthusiasts from around the globe. This podcast will share hunting and fishing stories, including past experiences, and tackle the tough hunting stereotypes our community faces. We hope to be a positive influence to those outside the community while also having a laugh along the way. Hope you enjoy the podcast. G'day and welcome to another episode of Hunting Connection podcast. On tonight's episode, we have Carly Murphy from Victorians against the Great Forest National Parks Facebook group. How are you going?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
That's good. Yeah, more than welcome. It's something that I believe is going to affect a lot of outdoor enthusiasts. So who better to get on than the person that's spearheading the campaign against this devastating thing?
Yeah, definitely the spearhead. Yeah.
So we'll get to know you a little bit. You know, what's your background? Why does this affect you, and why have you jumped on to be opposed against this national park?
So the story of how I created the group is, it surprises a lot of people because I'm not a bush user.
There we go.
Honestly, I'm not. I grew up camping and everything in Kevington, and as a kid, and I'm more of a stay at home in the warmth feel now. But I hate injustice. And I went to this to one of the community engagement sessions that they had, and in Alexandra, and it was actually the last one that they were holding. And we managed to get 560 people to turn up to this meeting that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
And we got there, and it was just it was a sham. It was just Post-it notes, and there was people that they didn't even want to answer our questions. They had no idea that there was going to be such a big turnout either. They were very shocked at the line all the way out the door in Alexandra. And then there was all these signs saying no photography, no videoing and everything. And I was like, this is weird. And then when I got in there, there was just, the whole thing just didn't sit right with me. And I ended up leaving, and it was the night after, it was 11 o'clock at night. And I was laying there and I was just fuming because I just thought that was just a complete sham. That's Alexandra is the town over from me in Ilden. So I was like, this is just not good enough. So I thought I'll start a Facebook group for Murrindindi residents against the Great Forest National Park. Then I was like, might as well make it Victorians. And so I did that, made a little banner thing and stuff, and then went to sleep. And when I woke up in the morning, there was 300 requests to join. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And then it was every day after that for the next 8 days or something, there was over 1,000 people joining every day.
That's crazy.
And it completely took over my life. And yeah, that's just how it started. And then I just started, researching, I got involved with a few people who have been fighting this for years and years and years, because turns out this has been going on for the last decade. They've been trying to get this in.
Yeah, wow.
So joined up with Bush Users Group and Community Advocacy Eastern Region, and learnt a lot. Some things I wish I didn't know. Ignorance was bliss, but now I know it. I can't let it go. So, yeah.
Well, that's crazy to hear that you're actually yourself not a bush user and that you're spearheading this campaign, because you can see how ridiculous it is. Looking at your group, you've got 13,600 members. How long have you had the group going for? Because that's crazy numbers.
So the meeting was May 4th. I started the group May 7th. So 2 months.
It's amazing growth. It just shows you how many people, are against it. As we were chatting about before the podcast, it's about time that all bush users and just
Oh,
get behind one cause. This is something that we don't want, from hunters to fishers to campers to full drivers to mountain bikers to horse riders to,
every
prospectors.
single person is going to be affected by this.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. For people that don't know what the Great Forest National Park is, can you give us a brief understanding of what it is and what
Sure.
the proposed plan is?
So, in a nutshell, the Great Forest National Park is an initiative by some environmentalist groups. Yes, very well-funded environmentalist groups who have been trying to get this through the government for the last decade. Um, they they're trying to bring all of the national parks in and make it into one big landmass of national park. I think it's 355,000 hectares. Something. It's a landmass the size of Tasmania.
That's nuts.
Is going to be a national park, which therefore hands over the title is then changed to a national park from state forest. So state forest, it can never be a state forest again. So they did all this because of logging. They are all about the leadbeater possums, the gliders, all against just logging in general, which logging is stopped. We are no longer logging in Victoria in the Central Highlands. So why does this need to happen?
Yeah, it's completely ridiculous. National parks. You just look here in South Australia that everywhere there's a national park, it's closed off. There's mass numbers of introduced species. The native species are out of control. Kangaroos, they're just eating everything out of house and home. We can't go in and use these places. There's certain places, you can go hiking for the day, but you can't take a tent in there and go camping for the
Can't take
weekend.
your dog in there and take it walking with you.
Yeah, that's it. What do you think
it's ludicrous.
What do you think the main mission of this great forest national park is?
I don't know how deep you want to go, but
Let's go deep. I want to learn everything I can about it. Let's go.
So, the Australian government signed an agreement with the UN, and it's called 30 by 30. So they have agreed with the United Nations to lock up 30% of Australia by 2030. That's what this all comes down to. This isn't about conservation. This isn't about saving the leadbeater possum. This isn't about saving the ecosystems and ecotourism, all of that stuff. This is about a bigger agenda that we cannot allow to happen.
Yeah. And what type of impacts is it going to have on the regional towns surrounding this proposed Great Forest National Park?
We're not going to survive.
Yeah.
Eildon is right at the end of the proposed park, and we rely on hunters, campers, fishermen, everyone to get us through the winter season. Like, we've got the lake for summer. It's extremely popular over summer, but we're a seasonal town. So if we can't get people to support us in business and our economy, nobody's going to be able to stay here. We're not going to have a town over winter. Like, it's just going And the same thing with all the towns around us. So all the businesses, they're not going to have all the hunters and campers, stopping in, filling up their cars with fuel, going to their supermarkets and stocking up on a week's worth of food because they're going up for a week-long camping trip or hunting trip. It's just massive, the impact this is going to have on all of the communities outside of Melbourne. Melbourne will be fine. This is for the city people to enjoy.
So who seems to be pushing this? Like what political parties seem to be pushing this, and then what political parties seem to be oppose this?
That's a messy question. So one thing that I've learned, see, I went into this knowing nothing about politics at all. Didn't want to know a thing.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. And then I started to, and even when I started the group, I was like, nope, we're not having politics in this group. Keep it out. I don't want to hear it. And it just, it comes in like a bulldozer. So Labor obviously are pushing for this national park, but then they deny it. Like Steve Demopoulos, my best mate, he's our minister for the environment here, and he's a disgustingly rude man on the internet, and does not like being told facts of what he's actually said, and will just keep denying it and then block you.
Yeah.
So, which is really professional. But anyway, so the Labor, they're going with the Greens. They want the green money, so they're going, yep, we're gonna push this through. We're gonna try and get this. So in the past, the Libs, they stopped this from happening. They said no at the last time this went through. But now Labor are pushing it. So we've got a lot of Liberals that are behind us, like Wayne Farnham. He is amazing. He's the one who's in the lower house with the petition, who we've just got to 10,000 signatures, which means that it will be debated in the lower house, which is just incredible. And we've got Melina Barth, who is going to be debating that in the upper house, because she's got, I think it'd be like 17,000 signatures or something now. But we've got, like, in the group, there's like One Nation, there's a whole heap of different political parties that are actually coming together, and the Libertarians, they're all coming together and they're working with each other. There's this wall that's come down. It's actually amazing to see.
That's awesome to hear. You don't see that too often here. A lot of things that you said I can relate to on the bow hunting ban here in South Australia. We've got our deputy minister here. She's got like 5 different banners under her title. She's the one that's been pushing for this bow hunting ban here, and it sounds exactly the same as what you guys are dealing with over there. She's gone to the point where she's deleted all of her social media because of the backlash she was getting, not just from South Australia, but Australia-wide, from international people questioning her about this bow hunting ban. And it's just been absolutely crazy. Like, for a politician,
they shouldn't be allowed to do that.
To delete.
They shouldn't be. Yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
They are there. They work for us. We pay their wages. They are politicians. We elect them. We put them in their spots. Our taxes pay their wages. So why are they not accountable to what we want and our questions? Why are they not answering our questions? They're just blocking us.
Yeah, that's it. She's the Minister for Environment over here. She runs a bunch of stuff. She's constantly under scrutiny from lots of different groups. So it's good
that's what you get.
Yeah. 100%. I heard that certain groups over here, no, in Australia, that are for bow hunting, they tried to request meetings with her, and they've rocked up to her office, and she's pretty much told them to shut up, sit in the corner. You're not from South Australia. I don't want you to speak. I'll let these people from South Australia speak, but if you guys speak, the meeting's done. Like, because it just doesn't meet her.
Are they like children?
Yeah, it's politicians.
Oh my god!
But
Oh,
to hear that, you're having, all these different political groups and parties working, against one thing,
yeah.
sounds absolutely amazing. Like we said at
It
the
is
start of the
amazing.
group, we started this chat. We need to get these political parties to work together. We need these outdoor groups and enthusiasts to work together. Whether you're a horse rider who doesn't like hunting, if hunting goes, horse riding in the national parks and the state
Exactly.
forests is next. There's all these
Yeah.
different groups that they don't like what each other does, but without one of those falls, the other one's soon to fall after that.
Exactly.
Unfortunately,
And like I'm not a fan of hunting. I love animals. I my dog is my life. But there is a need for it. We are going to be overrun by deer. There is deer already being hit on the roads around here. That's that crazy. They're coming down from the hills.
Yeah.
And they're in town. They are in my street. Like I went outside the other night and got honked at.
That's crazy.
And I'm in the middle of town.
That's nuts.
It's nuts.
But
Yeah.
like we've got all these things. Hunters, are locked out of these areas as vast. In Victoria, thankfully, they've got access to lots of places we can go hunting, but we're still locked out of a lot of areas. And those deer breed like crazy in those areas.
Oh.
And then you get the government come in and say, hey, we're going to go aerial cull all these areas and just leave
and
all
it's
the...
so cruel.
Yes.
It is so cruel, and what a waste. Like, that meat could be feeding a family that can't afford to go to the supermarket and pay the stupid taxes that our government are enforcing on us just over and over and over again. They can't go out and, use that meat to feed their family.
Yeah.
That's just disgraceful.
Yeah, 100%, and that's one argument. Like, we're having a huge problem with the same person that's pushing the bow hunting ban. She's also been pushing aerial culling here in South Australia.
That's disgusting.
We've had community forums down here in the southeast because the government's going around to these farms and saying, hey, we're seeing this many deer on your farm. If you don't let us go shoot these deer on your farm through aerial culling, we're going to fine you for the deer that are on your property.
What?
So they're threatening the property owners into doing this rather than letting them control the populations of animals on their own property. And then they're going through shooting them with shotguns. So here the method for aerial culling is with 3 shotguns in the helicopter and a rifle, and they're putting 6-7 shots into these deer, chasing them around paddocks into the open and just letting them rot. There's been many instances where deer are wandering around for days after the aerial culling.
That's gonna make me,
Yeah.
gonna make me cry.
Oh, it's I'm a hunter. I love animals. Like, behind me.
Yeah, most hunters
I got a
do.
photo of Steve Irwin up here behind me. He was, I wanted to be, a park ranger because he was my idol growing up.
Yep.
I cried like
Yep.
a baby when he died. I still
Yep,
cry like a baby when I see original Steve Irwin footages. Of
yeah,
him,
yeah.
working with animals. But I love hunting. I love being outdoors. I love the meat aspect side of it. I take my kids out hunting. I've got my 4-year-old. He's been coming out with me since he was 6 months old. The first bit of solid food he ate was venison.
Oh, there you go.
Like, I'm all about conservation, but I'm all about utilizing what you can when you can. So seeing them, Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia, doing all this aerial culling and leaving thousands of kilos of meat to waste. You know, we got homeless problems in every city. I haven't been in Melbourne for 15 years, but here in South Australia, the homeless population's just insane in Adelaide.
It's insane here too. And it's not even just in Melbourne. It's regional as well. Everyone is struggling. So and like you said, with them leaving the carcasses out in the middle of wherever, we also have a massive wild dog problem.
Yep.
If you are camping in Victoria, anywhere near Goffs Bay or anywhere like that, and it's like the middle of the night, all you'll hear is howling, and it is scary howling. Like these, and I love dogs more than anything. If I would probably try and that's probably why I shouldn't go camping, because I would probably try and go up and pat one and get my arm ripped off or something, or take it home and domesticate it. But these dogs, these wild dogs, they are just ravenous and they're crazy, and you feeding them like that and leaving carcasses out, leaving food for them, they're just going to keep breeding, and everything's just going to keep getting worse and worse. And you can't take a dog inside a national park, but you can have a wild dog problem. Where's the...
Yeah, it's absolutely mental.
It blows your mind.
It does. There's a lot. There's always these double standards when it comes to these types of legislations and laws and changes. It's I hate seeing national parks, because to me that's just you can't use it.
Yeah, you can't go any. It can't be any worse than that. Once that title's changed over to a national park, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It can never be changed back again.
Yeah, that's it. Soon as I think national parks, I think of, bushfires. Like, it's just here, everywhere there's a national park, or, we have SA Waterland here, or conservation parks here, and it's all, none of it's managed very well at all. They do a few burns here and there in certain areas, but it's just, fallen timber, overgrown, and it's, so as soon as I see
Parks Victoria have no money. They have no money now. They can't look after what they have now. So let's increase it by 3/4 of that size. That's crazy. Where is the common sense in that? There is none.
Yeah, that's it. It could only be an issue at the end of the day. It's going to, with increase of bushfires, it's just going to have, millions of acres, or what'd you say, 355,000 hectares, or...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the number that's imprinted in my head, and I don't know why.
I've got it here: 355,000 hectares of state forest.
Oh my god, that's how much I've been reading and everything about it. It's imprinted in my head.
that's nuts. But hey, it's awesome that you are doing this. I can only imagine the stress and how it's impacting your life. I could see that there's probably people that are upset with you for spearheading this campaign, and the stress that would put on you personally. But props to you for doing this, and then to find out that yourself aren't a bush user. That makes me so happy, because a conversation on this podcast that I have with a lot of my guests is, how do you see the public views on hunters and hunting? How do how would you change the public views on hunting and hunting? And, my whole thing about this is how do the public see us, and what can we do to make ourselves look better? But then to hear someone that has no background in hunting, you've done some camping, some full driving up there,
I was a kid.
Yeah, when you're a kid, but to have someone that has, no skin in the game whatsoever, spearheading a campaign for all these people that, love being out there and, enjoying this is just, it's crazy. It's awesome.
You guys have rights, and they have no right to take anything from anyone, and I'm sick of this government overstepping.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir,
Yeah, it's disgusting.
like you said, I didn't want anything to do with politics. I knew nothing about politics and politicians. I absolutely hated it. And, in the last 12 months, 2 years, I've, been advocating, against this minister that's trying to ban bow hunting, and looks like she's succeeded. But I've having politicians on people. The last thing I'll ever do is run, though. I'll push other people to run. I'll never myself. I'll never run. It's
never. No, I you've got to be a special type of person, I think, or have skin in the game.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do it. Yeah.
So before we started the podcast tonight, I jumped on to my past guest. The episode will be out by the time this episode's out. So Marcus's group, Bush Culture, Full Driving, Camping, Fishing, Outdoors, and I jumped on and asked the people in the group what would they like to know about what's going on. There's already been a couple of people saying, I'm not in the area, so it's not going to affect me. Looking at their profile, they're in Victoria, so yes, it is going to affect them.
Yep, go.
Yeah, so like a few of the questions are like, can I ask how it's going to specifically affect full driving, and will it limit the amount of free camping in that area?
All right, so no one, and not even the Great Forest National Park Initiative founders, can give you that answer. No one can give you the answer that you're looking for. No one can give you an actual correct answer, because nobody knows. Nobody knows until this is done, until this is changed over to a national park. No one will know whether they are going to have access to tracks. Look, you might have people from the Outdoors Task Force, from the government, coming around telling you that you're going to have access to all the tracks. Nothing's going to change, it's just all seasonal closures, all this stuff. No. Once this is changed, they can do whatever they want, whenever they want. You lose all your rights.
Yeah. So you mentioned this Outdoors Task Force a couple times before we started, and a couple times during. What is this is the first I've heard of them. What is this Outdoors Task Force? So
they're like VAC. So they're like the Victorian Environmental Assessment Council. Yeah, that one. There's so many acronyms, it's just crazy. So they're a part of that. They've been brought in to negotiate with bush user groups. And this is not about the Highlands. They have been brought in to talk about other areas of Victoria that are looking to be closed off as well after the Central Highlands. So it's all going to come for you. This is not just a one issue. This is a domino effect. Same thing happened with Strathbogie. Same thing happened with Wombat Forest. It's coming.
Yeah, so that leads up to one of the other questions in this group. What is going to be the focus on other areas of Vic that are state parks but are under attack too? Are you guys is your group fighting against everything that's happening in Victoria on that sense?
Well, I can only speak for myself, but I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not letting these people get away with this. It's crap.
Yeah.
It's not fair. And sometimes I look back and I go, oh my God, my life was so peaceful before all this happened, and like maybe if I hadn't have started that group, maybe I wouldn't be in this position. But you know what? I have this really powerful and scary position that I'm in at the moment, where I have to stand up and I have to continue to fight this because it's my name and my everything on it. So
Yeah.
if I back down, the whole thing backs down. So, you know, I don't care how far this goes. We're gonna be fighting it all the way.
No, that's great to hear, and it sucks to hear that they've already got plans in the works for once this one's through, they're gonna start working on other areas. That should scare the absolute fuck out of people.
Well, what should scare everyone is the changes to the Public Land Act that's coming into effect in 2026.
And again, I have no clue on what that is. Give us a rundown.
You probably don't even want to know, so I apologise in advance. But the government are currently drafting a new Public Land Act that's going to be. It is to bring in the First Nations, the self determination aspect of the UN stuff. They want Indigenous people to have more control and everything of their land, of the land, and that. And look, it's a hard subject to approach.
Yeah.
Because if you say anything bad, people go, "You're a racist." And I'm like, no, I love the thought of traditional owners, working in with Parks Victoria or whatever government thing we're going to have, would they change names with Decker and Delp and whatever. I'd love to have them working with each other and, doing their burning and everything. But there's always a sinister aspect of it, and that's there's corporations that have skin in the game. They're the ones that we need to be watching for.
Yeah, unfortunately, when it comes to all of that type of First Nations stuff, we're seeing it. We've seen it with Fraser Island. We've seen it with Uluru. We're seeing it with all these welcome to country ceremonies, and it's a very, very, very
it's so
hard topic to navigate.
on.
And all of this stuff seems to be getting forced down our throat with a bunch of other stuff. It seems to be just like a front so that they can say, look at me, we're doing something good, but behind, they're pushing people out of these places.
Yeah. So that's what the Public Land Act is really about, is about changing our public and Crown land to be able to be transferred over to native title. So that would essentially give over land management and responsibility from our government for those lands. So as soon as the next bushfire comes along, and it will, they'll be going, oh well, look, they didn't look after their land properly. Look, all those people died. That's not our fault. That's their fault. They didn't look after it properly.
Yeah.
It's got there's so many loopholes and so many different levels of craziness going on here.
Yeah,
it's so hard to even
have you managed to chat to any Indigenous people in the area on their thoughts about this? I
have a close friend who is an Indigenous, and she's we have spoken about this, and we've come to the agreement of really not talking about this anymore. It's hard. It's really hard because everyone's being sold a different story by the government.
Yeah.
So in one side, people are being told, you're going to have all of this amazing stuff happen. This is all because this is your land. We're giving it back. You deserve it. We took it from you. We're nasty people. All this stuff. But that's not what it's all about. And in my honest opinion, and this is just my opinion, I see that the Indigenous and Aboriginal people of Victoria and Australia are being used as pawns by our government.
Yep. Look, I 100% agree. The same politician here that I've spoken about, with the bow hunting bans, she's constantly publicly kissing Indigenous people's asses, to put put it lightly. I've spoken to a couple of Indigenous people that, still enjoy hunting, and, this act, even though that, as Australian Aboriginals had never invented bow hunting here in Australia, this new bow hunting ban stops them from bow hunting as well. Like, it even says it in the act that it's going to stop everyone, even Aboriginals, from bow hunting, and they're appalled. They're like, how is it our land and we choose this method of hunting for introduced species, and we can't even do it anymore? But because this person kisses the ass of that side so much, I don't think any of the Indigenous elders in South Australia are that aware of it, because it's being pushed behind closed doors.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of the, the custodians of the land and everything, the people who've been looking after the land around here and everything for all that time, they're not the ones that are really being heard here. It's the corporations.
Yeah.
So that's just my take on it all.
Yeah, I understand, and it's a very, very touchy subject, so it's hard not to get people on either side going, no matter what you say about it.
It's such a tough subject.
It's horrible. It's been cause of many arguments in my family around the dinner table.
But this is what the government wants. This is what the government has been trying to do, is divide and conquer.
Yep.
So they're dividing us as people, and it's working. We're letting them do it.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, the whole division thing of different cultures here in Australia. You look at the hunting community, the fishing community, the full driving community, and all these other outdoor recreational communities. It's people from every single culture that we have in Australia are out here participating in it. Constantly on the hunting pages here, Australian hunting pages, we're seeing, new migrants from all over the world coming over here and getting into hunting, getting into fishing, I just had a Brazilian on the podcast who moved to Adelaide. He grew up hunting in Brazil, and he's, refound hunting over here. And, it's a way for him to connect to his family's culture, even though he's hunting different
heritage.
His heritage, hunting different animals, but in a different land, but he's still, having roots with his ancestrage, the same as I am, I've got all sorts of European background, but as far in my family as you can look, there's been hunters, farmers, and all of them have done some sort of hunting, whether it's been pest control or food, or, in the, 40, 50 years ago when rabbits and foxes were worth money, they were supplementing their income at night, going out spotlighting for skins and stuff. But we're seeing all these different cultures working together and wanting the one thing. So we just need to ramp it up and show these politicians.
The government don't like that. They don't like it when we get together and we work together. They see that as a massive threat, and that's why there's been a lot of, how do I put it nicely? There's been a lot of surveillance of our group and myself. So
yeah, and now that's even crazier, that the fact that they're finding your group and yourself such a threat that there's these things coming out of it. What do they seem to be promising the towns surrounding these areas on the benefits of going through with this?
Oh God, the word that I hate more than anything in this world: tourism. Ecotourism. So, right. So they want to turn you know how you go up in the bush and you go for a bushwalk. We call it a bushwalk. They call it meditative walking. And soon you'll be paying to go with guides to go and meditate in the forest, and paying to do exactly what you're doing right now on your own for free with much more meditative factors. Um, yeah. Oh God, I hate that word. So basically, they just want to put all these spas and walking tracks, zip lines, and everything everywhere in the forest, which also makes me wonder how are they going to conserve all of these big trees that they're trying to look after. How they're not going to cut them down if they're making big skywalks in the treetops.
Yeah, that's one thing that blows me away with all of this stuff. You know, you got your treetop walks and your high wire stuff, and they're wanting to conserve these areas, yet they're trying to bring more tourism based
People
for
who don't know the bush.
for city people. You're bringing all your international tourists in, by the busload, and all the litter that goes along with it. You get your at the moment you've got your full driving groups that go out. They go do these rubbish pickups. You get people dumping rubbish, which I absolutely bloody hate. I seen your post about the mattresses and the prices of dumps just before we went live. There's a lot of full drive groups that go into the high country area, and not even just the high country, but they bring rubbish back and dump the rubbish at their own cost.
They do, and the bush users are the ones that are cleaning up these areas. It's not Parks Victoria, because they don't have the money to employ people.
That's it, like there's not many groups in Australia that pay their way. Hunters pay their way, fishermen pay their way. You got the different hunting licenses in Victoria: deer stalking permit, the hunting license, duck hunting permit, or duck and quail hunting permit, the hound hunting permit, all of that type of stuff. These people are paying their way. Then you got your fishing licenses; they're paying their way, and yes, we don't want to pay more money, but it's something that if we're seeing the money going back into looking after these areas, we're happy to do so. If there was one banner license for all of it, and just say, I'm probably going to cop shit for this, but just say it's $200 a year, but it covers your fishing permit, it covers full drive access into these areas, it covers camping permits, it covers boat ramp fishing, like everything under one license. Yes, $200 sounds like it sucks, but if you're doing more of these activities and then you're seeing that money go back into track maintenance, rubbish cleanups, you wouldn't care.
No.
And that's
what you pay in tip fees, dumping someone's what they've left over from a campfire.
That's it. And then, Parks Victoria, they're making money. They're able to employ more people to look after. I know it sucks, but you do need people to look after it. I see here on the
100%.
in the Victorian side of things, GMA, they cop so much shit from hunters. They're the ones that have to enforce the rules for the hunting regulations. They're not making a lot of the hunting regulations. They're not setting the seasons, but they're the people that have to enforce it. And they cop so much shit from hunters for trying to do what they do. But they're all hunters and fishers and outdoors enthusiasts.
That's their job.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Just the amount of infighting that we have. Yes, we don't agree on everything, but we need to, back each other when it comes to these types of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, the old divide and conquer.
That's it. That's it. What would be your message to all these different community groups, whether, they get along, whether they, some people hunt fish, some people hunt in camp, some people camp and fish, some people ride push bikes and, all of these, some cross, some don't, there's people like yourself that don't do any of it. What's your message to them to, fight against this and unite?
That's exactly what we need to do. We need to unite. If this is our last stand. This is the time. This is when we have to stand up and unite as one and show these people that they need to start listening to us. They can't just keep making backdoor deals and doing things behind our backs. We're allowing it because we're Aussies and we just go, oh, yeah, she'll be right, Yeah. We can't have the she'll be right attitude anymore.
Not when
we
it comes
have to
that.
stand up and we have to get loud and we have to get angry. And I'm sorry, we do have to get angry because if we don't do this now, it's gone for good. Like I said, those land titles can never change back to state forest ever again.
Yeah. Look, again, everything you're saying I can relate to when it comes to this bow hunting ban stuff. It's so hard to overturn things that have been put in place. And then when it comes to state forests to national parks never get off that list. And it's just
never.
Absolute craziness.
It's forest death. And another thing that I haven't actually touched on, sorry, I didn't.
That's fine.
Didn't touch on it earlier, is the bushfire part of stuff. So living in Ilden, we were in the 2009 Black Saturday fires.
Yeah.
And this would probably be the biggest pushing personal factor that I have is that my dad has been a CFA volunteer for Ilden for 45 years, just gone this year. And he was actually he had to fight that fire, and he was on Marysville Oval when the flashover occurred, and everyone lost their lives. And to think of that bush being locked up and allowed to get to that stage ever again because of lack of maintenance and something that we could have done as the people of Victoria to stop that from ever happening again. If that is to ever happen again, I tell you, I will never be able to live with myself.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
The amount of people who, if they, it is a really touchy subject because I had my godfather, my uncle, everyone that were in that fire brigade. They were all on that oval.
Yeah. And
they saw things that no person should ever see. 15 years on, and they're still dealing with the mental things that happen because of that. And if we can stop that from ever happening again to the point of what it did, like that hot, just crazy burn that there's nothing that you can do to stop. If we can stop that, we cannot allow that to happen ever.
Look, you touched something there. You said, they're battling mental health issues because of that. Are they bush users? Are they going out into the high country, camping, full driving, whatnot?
Yep.
Look, that's another reason to, not let this national park stuff go ahead, because people are getting out there to deal with their mental health issues. 100%.
That is their therapy. It's not going bushwalking with some guided person doing some meditation in the middle of a bloody group under a tree or something. It's people going out, camping, getting a couple of mates together, lighting a fire, having a couple of beers. You know, that's their therapy.
Yeah.
That's how they get through things. Do not take that away from people. You take that away from people, and we lose these people.
Yeah, that's 100%. You know, that was one of our arguments with this whole bow hunting stuff, the whole duck hunting stuff. Is that, you know, a lot of these people that go out, they're, you know, some of them have mental health issues, and they're going out, you know, hunting, and they're going out bush to deal with this stuff. Like, that's what gets them through the week, knowing that they're going to be able to go out. And, you know, the same things on the fishing side, the camping, the full driving side. Marcus, who was on the last episode when this comes out, you know, he spoke about, you know, the mental health side of stuff as well, like what full driving and going camping does for him and people he knows, and, you know, seeing it in all these different bush user groups. It's you know, a thing that in the hunting community we get stigmatized for. If we have mental health issues, we go see a doctor for it. You know, thankfully I've never had any mental health issues, but just say I went to a doctor and said, hey, I'm suffering depression, you know, I'm upset, boom, there goes my rifles, there goes my guns. You know, it's such a hard, you know. And then, like, if you're getting to go bush all the time to help with this stuff, you know, you're fine. But then as soon as that gets taken away from you, then the reality of these mental health issues set in, and then that's when you start seeing people have issues.
The reality of this actually really kicked in for me when I did start this group, because I made one of the actual question to join the group was, what's your reason for wanting to keep the state forests open and not turned into a national park? And these people's stories, some of them would be paragraphs long. You know how you just do, you know, you got to answer a question to join a group, and most people just write, you know, one little word, and these were paragraphs long, and they're grown men, you know, grown women. They're people that you would never think, hey, like, these people are, they're scared. And I've even had people reach out to me in messages, and it's really, really hard, but I know that it's coming from a good place. But I do have people that message me and say, Carly, if this does go through, I will.
Yeah.
That will be the end of me.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's another part of the reason why I can't let this go. And I don't know these people, but I could never just drop the ball and just say, oh, you know, it's too hard. It's taking too much of my life. This is too hard on me. I've got to take a step back or whatever, because there's people's lives at stake.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy just to see, you know, how passionate and how emotionally invested you are in all of this, you know, like the stories that you must be getting told, the stuff that you're hearing from, you know, the political parties, and, you know, the other people that are hearing what's actually happening, and, you know, then what they're telling regional communities compared to what actually is going to happen. And, you know, like I've been following the page for a good couple months now. It was still only a couple thousand people when I requested to join the group. So it is good to see that, you know, it is growing. There's a lot of passionate people. Like, you know, you've got almost 14,000 people. That's enough to swing an election. Like, that's going to be very, very harmful. And, you know, like, I'm in South Australia, you know, think of the other state users you have in there that come down to Victoria to use this. Like, it's all tourism dollars. Like, that's the tourism that they should be focused on.
Exactly. Not your eco-tourism.
Yeah, like my parents are traveling Western Australia at the moment, and like they're just saying it's ridiculous. Like paying, they're traveling with a dog as well. Like they're
Oh
having to
no.
avoid certain national parks, and leaving her with like dog
Oh,
stays
it's
and
so
stuff
wrong.
like that because they can't take her with her. Like you look at someone like Steve Irwin who constantly had a dog with him everywhere he went in Australia. Like he would be pissed off that he couldn't, like, and he was the eco warrior, like he went everywhere with
And
his
no one could
dogs.
ever say that he is not about conservation and he was not about saving the planet and the world and all this stuff. He's Steve Irwin.
Yeah. And you know what he did in
Like
his spare time? He went pig hunting with dogs. Like
exactly. Because there is need for it. Oh God.
It's these things aren't for everyone, but they're for the people that use it.
And you
It
need
gets
to
taken away.
respect people's rights to
Yep.
do what they want to do.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. You know.
Not everyone's going to be a Melbourne city slicker and go and sip on lattes in Oakley, posting photos to Instagram about their avocado smashed toast. Not, we don't live life like that. Sorry, we go out, we go and get firewood. We go and get dirty. Look, that's actually. I'm sorry. I left out something. I am a bush user because I collect firewood
There you go. That's
for my fire.
Yep.
Over winter. So I do. I'm sorry. I am a bush user. And I don't like it. I don't like having to go and get wood, but got to do it. Go out there, you get muddy.
And how much more amazing is that natural heat from a wood like a wood fire than just a.
Hey, I've got 2 splitties in this house, and I will not turn them on for the life of me because of how much it costs. Stuff that I am not turning those things on because they charge way too much for power. So I'm going to use my fire.
But not only that, it's like some of my fondest memories growing up as a kid was going hunting, fishing, camping with my grandparents. Like I was there every fortnight, and we were constantly doing something. But what did they what did they heat their house with? A wood fire. What did we do on like few weekends every year? We took the trailer up, we took the van up, we filled the trailer and the van up with wood. Pop would cut the wood, then would take it back, would split it all. I'd be throwing wood into the trailer in the back of the van, stocking up. I'd be catching lizards, I'd be catching bugs, I'd be, pulling the witchetty grubs and the barty grubs out of the timber and, eating them and playing around, just being a typical kid. That's some of the fondest memories as a kid. Kids don't remember the best video game they played as a kid.
Oh,
they remember the best times they had as outdoors as a kid.
Exactly, and even my fondest memories from being from my childhood is going up with my uncle and my dad used to get a whole group of mates, and we'd all go up, we'd go 4-wheel driving, and we'd take the trailers and we'd cut up a whole heap of firewood for all of us, so that everyone had a trailer load, take it home. But we made it like a special day. And, those memories, if these children that are coming into this world, and I know I'm not having children, I don't want to have children. I made that decision when I was very young, and I still stand by it. I have dogs for children, but I could not imagine anyone else's child not being given that opportunity to have those memories and to spend that time in the bush like we did, getting muddy, getting dirty, scraping our knees, putting an axe through your foot or whatever, you standing on a log and there's a jump jack ants nest in there, and the next minute you're down at the hospital.
Yeah,
it's Yeah.
It's memories, it's stories you tell for generations, you know. Like the other day when I got the news that a date had finally been set for the bow hunting ban, you know, I just picked my
Mm-hmm.
4-year-old up from my auntie's place because she had him for a couple days, and like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to people, and you know, his bow's up on the wall behind me. You know, he shoots. You know, he can't wait till he can, you know, come out hunting and shoot something with his bow. And I was having to explain to a 4-year-old why like I'm not going to be able to go bow hunting with him where we usually go bow hunting. We're going to have to go interstate to places like Victoria and New South
Yeah,
Wales.
you know, you can come to Victoria because
Yeah.
it's never going to happen here. I'm never going to let it.
That's great to hear. You know,
For people like you and your kids, with you, it's never going to happen.
That's fantastic to hear. But yeah, explaining to a 4-year-old that, you know, we're not going to be able to bow hunt. You know, he's grown up with, you know, I've got 10 bows in this room. You know, bow hunting's
So
my
sad.
life. I absolutely love it. You know, I've traveled the world bow hunting. I've gone New Zealand, America, Mexico. You know,
I love
interstate.
America.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but, you know, he goes, can we go? This is coming from a 4-year-old. He goes, can we go to the police and get these people arrested? And this is a 4-year-old saying it. I'm like,
Oh,
we can't, mate.
yes, we can, son. Yes, we can.
I want to, trust me, but we can't because, you know, the police are having to enforce these rules for these dictators, and
Well,
it's
really, we could. But, you know.
but yeah, having to explain that to an a 4-year-old, he was
Yeah.
angry. Like it was funny hearing what he was saying about it and watching how his little mind worked, being
Oh,
angry and upset over it.
gone straight to the police.
Like, yeah, he goes, can we go get these people arrested? And I
Oh,
pissed
we all
myself
wish
laughing.
they could.
It cracked me up.
Yeah, that's cute.
What challenges has yourself and your group like faced opposing this so far?
I'm trying to think back. So we've had environmentalists or activists call us. You know, I no longer answer my phone.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. I no longer answer my phone. If I don't know the number, I don't answer it. We've had people calling, verbally abusing us, threatening. Um, the biggest challenge, though, I think would be Facebook censorship.
Yeah.
I have been having to research the crap out of algorithms and you know how Facebook does it what it does and censors everything and stuff and trying to find ways through it. And like even on the first week of having the group, it was over 1,000 members a day, right? As soon as it got to a week of 7 days, it just went boom and just shut off. And it was like, okay, somebody's picked up on what we're doing here. They've seen that there's something going on, and they've cut our viewing. And so that's been since about 8,000 members, and I've been having to push through this censorship this whole time. So that's why you'll see in the group there's these. Every now and then I'll put out a call out that, guys, we need to jump on this post and, you know, share the crap out of it. And it'll have 300 and something shares and all these likes, comments, everything on this one post, just trying to get the algorithm to because from what I've learned, there's 1,500 posts that they allow in your news feed for each different person for a singular day. So for you to be in that, for your group's content to be seen as engaging and worth being put into those people's news feeds, it has to be shared It has to be have enough engagement that it's been shared, that it's had people tagged in it to show people that it's worth watching or worth seeing, and it's got to have reactions and a whole heap of engagement on it. So I've been just trying to work out these algorithms, and then Facebook will go and change them again, and I'm like, oh no. So yeah, it's been a very slow crawl from about 8,000.
Yeah.
We're nearly at 14 now. I think it's 13.6 or something.
Yeah. I had a look before. It's 13.6, which is incredible.
Which, and it would be so much higher if they didn't, censor us like they do. And you can see it on the insights, like the graphs just go like this. They're going up and up and up, and then it just goes boom, straight down to the bottom. And it's like, oh my God, could you be any more obvious?
I trust me. Like hunters, their social medias, their groups, pages, everything is so censored and monitored. Like we're constantly like shadow banned, because anything with guns or bows or blood or meat or anything like that, we get censored straight away.
The shadow banning is so bad. They don't even have to give you a reason or give you any notice.
Yeah.
Nothing. You just boom, shadow banned. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, you definitely see it. It's, I run pages, I run groups, and I don't even worry, like, for what I do. I don't even worry about the algorithms and the monitoring what it does, because I know like it hits a point and then it dies down. It hits a point and then it dies down. Like it's, like you said, they control what you see for the day. And
they do, but you can get through it. You can find ways through it because they have tried so many times. And our biggest thing and like our goal out of this is to educate people on what's going on, so that we can get them behind us and with us, so that when we do need to fight, we will fight.
Yeah.
But people don't know what's going on still. There's still people in Ilden who don't know what's going on.
Crazy.
Like, people live in these towns and they don't know what's going on because they hid it so well, and that's why they're so pissed at me, because I got it out there, and they've put they've already extended the time that they need to. They were supposed to be announcing that they had put in their recommendations on July 31st.
Yeah.
They put out a press release Friday, I think, saying that they needed more time. And now the timeline's actually saying mid to late 2024. So, yeah,
crazy.
It's weird. It's strange that a group of people on Facebook can have that kind of impact to push something out like that. Even though it's a small win, but it's given us time to get the numbers on the petitions. We'll be able to get everything, all the resources and stuff that we need, all the people behind us that we need before this is put through.
Yeah. Have you thought about like social media side of things? Have you thought about doing a TikTok side of thing? You're very, very passionate. You're very well spoken when it comes to it all. Like live TikTok. I'm seeing, with people like Marcus, who I've mentioned a couple times on this episode. He does excellent videos on, full driving, enjoying like the Victorian high country, all of that type of stuff, mental health. And he does videos just talking to the camera about it, with your passion and your enthusiasm, you putting videos out there on something like TikTok and Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, I reckon could go a very, very long way.
I'm so camera shy. You know what the stupid thing is though? I've only just thought of this. I actually have a verified TikTok account.
You do?
I do. From when I went to America back in the day, I was like famous on Musically,
Okay.
and now it's like a verified TikTok account. So why am I not using that?
Yeah, I could see you doing very well with something like TikTok. Posting videos up, doing live streams, chatting about this, because people are going to come across it when you're streaming live. Like you and I are chatting right now, but it would be you sitting there, people coming into the comments, asking questions. People could request to chat like we are now, and you'd be able to talk about this, and people are going to accidentally stumble across it, and they're going to be able to put, a face to what's going on. As you said, there's people in your area that don't know about what's happening.
Yeah, I think that's part of what's of the fact that I'm still learning what I can and can't do in this. I'd never thought that I could go on podcasts until last week when I was thrown on to the one just before the rally. I never thought I could speak at rallies, and then I'm up speaking in front of hundreds of people at
Crazy.
rallies. Like, I'm learning as I go. So thank you for that
No.
reminder that I have that account and I can actually have a big reach on there. That's just so dumb. So yeah, you'll be seeing me on TikTok.
That's good. I can't wait to see it, and I'll be sharing it as much as I can, and I'll be encouraging others to do the same. You just mentioned the rally. Then I seen it on Facebook, and it was getting shared. How did it go? What happened?
So Mansfield was great. We had a really good turnout. I think it was like 500 people. And that was on a crappy cold, if there's footage of it and I'm standing there shivering, I was so cold. But crappy conditions, but we had 500 people turn up. So many informative speakers. There was so much feedback on how great that was to have such great information being shared. A lot of people learnt a lot. The Libertarians held that one, and I spoke very, very quickly and very nervously in front of everyone. I haven't rewatched the live video because I can't bring myself to. I was up on top of the back of the ute, shaking like a leaf with my piece of paper.
Oh, no.
But I got it out, and I ended it with and we're gonna stick it up them.
That's great. That's great. Props to you. Like public speaking, like as much as I've done this podcast for about 2 years now, and even public speaking absolutely sucks. But this podcast form seems to go all right. But it's 500 people. That's a great turnout. I went to Mansfield for the first time earlier this year for the Mansfield Hunting Expo that was held in when was that? End of February, mid-February, something like that. And man, that was such an amazing turnout. I think I was speaking to some people and they were expecting about 3,000 people, and there was closer to 10,000 people rock up. For that expo, which is that was held by the Mansfield Hunting and Fishing shop there. That's incredible. Like those people
Massive shout out to them too, because they're right behind us. They've been they've been great.
Ange is awesome.
Yeah. So Mansfield, it was great. We did have the issue of the notorious Mansfield Highway Patrol. There was a good between 5 and 7 highway patrol out on that day, just going up and down the highway. It was pretty crazy. So a lot of four-wheel drivers stayed away, because a lot of four-wheel drivers stay away from Mansfield just non-stop because you'll get canaried. But then we also had the one in Druin, which I don't know if you've seen that. There was. We actually made it onto the news. A few news channels actually put it up. There was drone footage of it. There was close to 1,000 people there. And that was when we had Simon Christie from Four Wheel Drive TV, had him speak. He's been amazing in all this. He's been so super helpful, especially towards me, coming on the podcasts and stuff with me before this one, but because I was just so nervous and couldn't do them by myself. So
How you doing? Amazing.
I couldn't even eat my dinner. I was so scared tonight. I still get really nervous, and everyone's like, you're really good at speaking. It's fine. And I'm like, what if I do something stupid? What if I say something stupid? Yeah, it's always going to be in the back of your mind that you're being recorded, and anything you say and do can be held against you.
100%. I get it. I get it. But you're doing great, and it's showing people that, you're being yourself, and showing people that you are very, very passionate about what's going on. And it's great to see that's what's going to draw people in. That's what's going to get people's emotions flowing, is seeing how passionate and how emotionally invested you are into it. So that's where people are going to listen to stuff like this. Once you start doing your TikTok stuff, they're going to see how passionate and how enthusiastic you are about it, which is what draws people in. Enthusiasm.
I don't have time in my day already. I'm gonna have to get some more hours in the day.
Yeah, I get it. Trying to put this podcast together, but they go quick. We've already been chatting an hour and 30 on here, and an hour 20 on the podcast.
And here I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get 20 minutes in. Oh my god!
Yeah, you've done amazing. Moving on a little bit, where we're up to, have you had, what would you say has been significant successes in your campaign for it so far?
All the different politicians coming together, that's been a massive success. So I could not be prouder of everyone that's involved in that. The rallies, they've been amazing. Every time I go to a rally, there's all these people that come up to me and they're hugging me and they're thanking me for what I'm doing. And I'm like, guys, this is all of us. This is a team effort. It's not just what I'm doing, it's what everyone's doing. And if it wasn't for these people being with me, we wouldn't be able to do this. We wouldn't have had this impact. So, yeah. I think one of my favourite moments was with Steve Dimopoulos, before he blocked me. Was shoving it up him, because he actually denied saying something that I actually had written in a media release. And was able to throw that up in front of him, and then all of a sudden I was blocked. That was fun.
That's great.
And I got screenshots of it all, and I put it up in the group, and everyone's laughed at it. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
that was a good one. Yeah.
Petty,
but good.
That's so good. No, it's I get what it's like. No, I have plenty of that. With a bunch of other things when it relates to hunting related stuff.
That's funny.
How can the public get more involved and support your efforts? What can people do? Like, after joining the group, they hear this, they come over, join the group. What can people do to help this cause?
So we've set up a website. We had All Terrain Action is a four-wheel drive club. Yep. They actually reached out to me in the beginning and were like, so what resources have you got and everything? And I'm like, nothing. I'm a girl sitting on the couch with a smashed up iPhone 12, just doing this from home. And he was like, right, so we're going to donate a website to your cause.
Amazing.
And I was like, wow, that is incredible. So anyway, Chris and his team have been amazing. So they've set us up a website, which is no to greatforestpark.org. So with everyone else's efforts on my team, we've got all of the petitions on there. We've got a link tree on there to actually send out emails to all of the relevant politicians that need to be hearing about this. So they literally it goes straight to your email, and you don't have to do anything. So if people can go to that website and jump on there, have a look, have a read. We're also trying to raise some funds for future rallies. We know we're going to have to take this, inside Melbourne.
Yeah.
We have no funds. We've started out with nothing. So we actually a sign writer friend of mine from South Gippy Signs, Glenn Dundee, he's jumped on board and helped me out. Who's an old school friend, which has been amazing. So he made some stickers to begin with, and now we've started with hoodies and beanies and caps and everything. So like all of those, all of the stuff on the website is really, helpful to our cause, whether it be printing off brochures and putting them in shops and putting up posters, anything, just getting the word out there, because just people just don't know what's going on. It's crazy. Yeah. We need to educate people.
Yeah, it sounds like, the whole sharing what you're posting. I'm on the website now. It's a piece of piss to navigate. You've got all of the petitions right there to sign. With the petitions, is it only for Victorians? Because that's something we faced here in South Australia with this bow hunting.
And that's what sucks, because I keep getting, because we have so many people from New South Wales and Queensland and South Australia, everyone in the group, and they're like, what can we do to help? Because we can't sign the petition. And I'm like, and the other thing that you guys can do is you can actually email your own MPs in your area and our MPs, email, phone, if Steve Dimopoulos's office is, unreachable for 2 weeks because we're constantly making phone calls to his office, imagine the kind of impact that's going to have. If he can't use his phone because we're calling too much, like that's going to put a stop in the system,
That's a bloody great way of looking at it. That's awesome. That's just given me ideas for this bow hunting ban.
Yeah, if you stop them from being able to do what they want to do and what they need to do, that's when they're going to start taking notice. So, yeah, just make some noise.
That's awesome. I'm definitely going to be making some noise and share this stuff. I'll be sharing it well before this podcast is out, so that people can start seeing it. You're doing an absolutely amazing job, and to find, like, it blows me away to find out that you are coming at this from not being really a bush user, camping as a kid and collecting firewood as an adult.
People think it's so weird. They're like, "Are you not a hunter? You're not a four-wheel driver?" I'm like, I've got a BF Ute. Like,
no.
I'll go four-wheel driving, but I don't have a four-wheel drive. Like, I'll take the Ute. I took it up Woods Point, and that was interesting coming home. But yeah. No, I think it's just part of being a decent human being, and we need to be doing that a bit more often now. I don't see it as being anything special that I'm doing. It's just I would, if this was my hobby of life, I would expect someone to stand up for it for me.
Yeah, well, look, that's the weird thing. Not many people will, especially like like putting it back to the hunting side of things, because that's where I'm coming from, for years the older generations have been like, don't post stuff, don't talk about going hunting. The less people know about it, the better it is for us, because they're not going to know where we exist, so they're not going to fight against us doing it. And
look what it's done.
Our generation's like, I'm a hunter, I'm proud, I'm collecting meat,
Yeah.
I'm helping the environment, yes, I'm doing these things, but I do enjoy hunting. I do enjoy, like, without enjoying it, there's no, like, I wouldn't be doing it. If I didn't like going out shooting deer, I wouldn't be spending a day walking, anywhere from 4 or 5 kilometers to freaking, 20 kilometers, finding a deer to shoot it, to cut it up, to put, a whole deer worth of meat in a backpack and then carry it back to a car. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't freaking enjoy it, So it's a weird thing for people, especially for people that don't know anything about hunting, Without the enjoyment, you would not be doing it. So yes, it's not the kill itself that's enjoyable, because it can be an emotional side of things, but it's the success side of things. It's going home, giving that meat to your friends and your family. And it's
100%. But the government don't like it because they can't tax it.
That's it, and that seems to be, I seen today that the government's looking at people registering their chickens, because they don't want. They want to know where everyone that has chickens in their backyards, growing their own eggs. And I'm just like, all the thing that popped into my mind was that COVID meme when they were forcing the vaccines, was the "govern me harder, daddy," and it's got the QR code on his forehead and the needle hanging out his arm. Like, that's the first thing I could think of. And people are fine with this government overreach. It's, like, that's just...
Oh my God. So so people could get fined for not declaring they have chickens now.
Yeah, because they're making this bird flu shit much bigger than it is. One of the other podcasts I listened to, talking about that. If you have chickens in an outbreak area, you have to kill them all because they might risk spreading the bird flu. But when wild birds can spread it and fly around an area and spread it even...
The hypocrisy and just the idiocy of this state, it just blows my mind.
It's not the state, it's the country. And,
the country. Like, what are we doing? When did Australia become this?
Well, I can pinpoint it. John Howard introducing firearms laws. That's when Australia started falling. Firearm owners and hunters have been targeted as criminals, and they're bad guys since Port Arthur, and since then everything's going downhill in Australia. That's when I can pinpoint it.
Yeah, well, I was only born in 1990, so it's like we didn't even have a chance.
Yeah, I'm 93, so I know exactly what it's like.
So you're even younger than me.
It's
crazy.
Nuts. Yeah, it's crazy. But again, look, thank you for coming on. I messaged you last weekend, whenever it was, and asked you to come on to chat about this, because again, I didn't know much about it. I've seen what's been getting shared around on the hunting groups. I'm pretty sure you shared your group to a bunch of the hunting groups, and that's how I found out about it. Or someone did.
I was actually being blocked. I was being blocked from sharing to the group, so it's actually really good for me to hear that it's actually being allowed into a lot of these user groups now, because they were declining the posts for a very long time. So look, if we've gone over a line there, that I'm happy about that.
It's a hard one, because I like even sharing this podcast to hunting groups. Like, I've tried Reddit, I've tried Instagram, I've tried all these different ways of posting it up, and people get so upset that you're sharing something that you've created. When it comes to it, it's like you don't have to listen to it. I'm just sharing it here for you to give the opportunity to have a listen to it. Whether you listen to it or not, I don't care. But I'm just giving you the opportunity to.
but then watch out if they get offended by something that you said.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, hopefully no one gets offended from anything we've said, and I think we've hit the nail on the head with everything we've discussed tonight. You know, like I was going into it not too sure on how I was going to approach the questions and what we were going to talk about. Like I said, I jumped on ChatGPT to pump out a couple of questions just to keep us on track, and jumped into a full driving group and asked them what they would like to hear. And you know, we've covered those things and didn't really need to go off the list too much. And
No.
we got it all covered, which is absolutely fantastic. Again, where can people find your social media and hit you up to ask you questions, or ask anyone else in the questions? And
So we're on Facebook. We're a group. If you just type in the search bar "Victorians against the Great Forest National Park," you'll find our group. So, and then our website, no to greatforestpark.org. And I've also got an email, Carly at no to greatforestpark.org. So any questions or anything like that, hit me up. And yeah, hope to see you in the group.
Amazing. And I'm going, like I said, I'm going to share it around, try and get more people in. You know, normally I keep quiet, who I've had on the podcast, but yeah, this definitely needs to be like shared around and get more people on it, because the more people, like, even if it's not just Victorians in there, you know, I've through the broadcast channel feature on Instagram, I share, like, I'll screenshot something from your page and post it in there. I'll screenshot, you know, something related to hunting that's happening in New South Wales, Queensland, firearms laws, you know, no matter what state, and just try and, you know, share the information around, you know, get people to do these letter campaigns when it's in their state, you know, like, yeah. And it's so, like, it's so hard to get people to do letter campaigns.
There's so many people that will, they'll say that they're going to do stuff. They'll come in and they're like, yeah, let's be loud, let's make noise, let's do this, let's do that. And then they're gone. They're gone like the wind, but they're still in the group, but they don't do anything. And you're like, well, hey, where did you go?
Soon as you ask them to do a letter campaign, even if it's pre-written and all they have to do is sign their name and put their email in, it makes them disappear.
Copy and paste.
Yep.
Copy and paste. They can't even copy and paste.
It's frustrating.
It blows my mind. It blows my mind.
We deal with it on the firearm side of stuff, you know, getting people to try and legalize suppressors and that for hunting, and just people, like, when you get a decent lot of emails go through to someone, you get some great responses. But 100%. If you don't get people, you just look like an idiot. Yeah. I'm used to looking like the idiot. No, well, look, you haven't looked like an idiot tonight. You've done absolutely amazing, and I love hearing about what you're doing and seeing what you're doing and putting a face to the name and seeing how enthusiastic you are and how passionate you are about it. It's definitely made me want to share it and get more people on board on it. So,
thank you so much, and thank you for having me on. Just getting the information out there is just so important, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's it. No matter what form of outdoor recreation you're doing, we all have to get on top of this, whether, you know, you're a hunter that hates some other discipline, and you're, you know, a horse rider that hates hunting, and a farmer that hates, like, we all need to work on this type of stuff together and meet in the middle, because if we have all this infighting, we're never going to get anywhere, and we're just going to lose constantly. As a podcaster that I listen to, he constantly says we have to guard the gate. So that's what we have to do. We have to guard the gate. So shout out to Clay Newcomb. So unite as one and guard the gate. Well, again. Thank you, Carly, for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Catch you later. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Hunting Connection Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed our discussions and gained valuable insights into the world of hunting, fishing, and the outdoors. To stay connected with us and never miss out on an update, please be sure to follow us on social media. all at Hunting Connection Podcast. We appreciate your support and would love for you to share the podcast with your friends and family. Don't forget to tag us in your hunting photos on social media and let us know about your experiences. Your feedback is invaluable to us, so please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Together, we continue growing and delivering more captivating episodes for all hunting enthusiasts. Stay connected, stay informed, and keep pursuing your passion for the hunt. Until next time, happy hunting.